Hey guys, it hasn't been too long since my last gear update video, but I want to talk about some goals I have. I want to finish my apses to 22, and that also includes getting my monocle and the second superior pendant to 21 or 22. And the main reason is that it should push me to be strong enough to start soloing bosses like Hardamian. I could ask for some ball meals or Kana meals to come with me to make it easier, but even without them, I should be able to do it. And that also includes Hard Lotus as well, where it's an actual true solo. Reason being is that mirror image does not function properly when you have a familiar out, and I don't think I'll need the extra healing anyways. Mirror image and Lotus is a pretty good way to soak damage for you and survive better. And like aside from just being able to solo those two bosses, it makes progression a lot more simpler in a way. Yes, I am spending more messes on apsos and equipment that is temporary, but the way I see it is that once my apsos are 22 and the other items are 21 or 22, aside from worrying about flames and potentials, the next thing on the list is arcanes. And I can be very chill about how I want to do arcanes. I can take my time and farm whenever I want, get whatever droplets I can. At the moment, I have like 480 something droplets in Arcana and around 60 something in Esfera. So I have enough for 4 set right away. But it's not something I have to rush right now. The way I can go about progression is I can either brute force it and just whatever droplets I can get and I can buy a piece right away. I could just brute force it to 21 and hope it sticks. If it bubbles up for before that, then back to farming I go. I can be very slow with it and be very greedy with what kind of flames I want. Because I'm not immediately equipping those items and I have absos instead, I can throw rainbows on it, hope for like tier 7 flames or tier 6 flames that are really nice. I'm essentially setting myself up for a better end game, but it is at the cost of more mesos, and that's fine with me. I do plan on playing this game for a while, whether that means I only get to play for like a few hours a day or maybe like 8 hours during weekends or something. Reboot is a pretty long process. You usually want to plan for the long term. Something I want to talk about next is IED for dual blades. It does say 87% visually, but that's not actually the case. Phantom Blow has a lot of sources of IED. It adds up to around like 71%, not including set bonuses and what else, just like from the skill itself. So it is around like in the 90s, like 92, 91 for Phantom Blow specifically. It's not the case for Blaze of Destiny though. It does get 30 IED loaded into it, but this is probably like around like sub 90 IED as well. AK Legion is something I haven't done yet. It is something I will do in the future, and when I do it, it does help as a dual blade. The IED does help. When Marksman and Night Lord are level 200 and BT's at 210, that's another 5% crit rate that I could be getting. That means these 5 points in the crit rate can be moved into something else, either IED or boss damage, crit damage, anything else that would come with it at 8k. Because my inner ability is boss, crit, and buff duration, I can invest more points into stats like attack, still IED. Maybe I can do buff duration. Maybe I can opt in for knockback resistance, so I can cap easier. I do have 4 points into it in hyperstat, but it's something that you need for bosses now. And there's still 15 more levels I can get, so the hyperstat is not done. This will definitely change in the future. And the last thing I would like to talk about is cooldown hats. How good are they? Are they necessary for dual blades? Like, should I worry about it? it's not like a number one priority. I think at the end of the day, eventually you do want at least one line of -2 second cooldown on your hat, and then the other 2 lines is whatever it is you can get with it. If you already have a 3-line luck hat, then just stick with it for now. When you decide whether you want to stick with Apsos or you want to go the arcane route, then you can decide how many lines of CD you want. Something like this is fine while you're progressing. Even like for end game bosses, like something like this is perfectly fine. But ideally, instead of this is probably like a really good potential for you. Most people. If you come across this, definitely keep it. It's kind of hard to notice right now, but you do get more extra casts of Blaze of Destiny and Blade Tornado during the fight. I believe if you have a 4-second CD hat, including like Mercedes and whatnot, you get about 3 extra casts a minute of these 2 skills. That is assuming that you're casting them as soon as they're up, and those casts add up, over the duration of the fight, and it depends on the duration of the fight. If it's a 25-minute fight, then the value really shines then, I believe. If you come across a situation where it's a -3 second cooldown hat, example being -2 second and a second line of -1 second, I would say it depends on what the third line is. If the third line is main stat, it's not bad to stick onto that. It's probably okay. You would have to determine whether or not how valuable that -1 second line is. Is it more valuable than an additional line of main stat? I'm not sure. Probably not, but it is pretty expensive to roll your hat for these specific potential lines. You can just get lucky, and get something like this -4 second hat with all stat onto it. If you come across this, keep it. Never, lock it away. Don't touch the potential on this thing. It's like this is like the nuts roll, but then like the godlike roll would be -6 second, and that I can't even begin to imagine if that would be really good or not. But yeah, that is the end of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm sure there's probably a few regarding dual blade. This class is pretty cool, I'd say. Cooler than Night Lord in my opinion. Well, that's that's subjective. Thanks for watching, and peace.